Welcome to the Speak Your Piece podcast. My name is Ian McNaughton. Pleased to be joined by SYP creator Scotty K. Scotty, what's happening, big guy?
I'm back on the podcast. I feel like I'm a weekly guest now, which is actually exciting. It's back to normal. Yes.
Well, we're doing NHL stuff now, right? So like we're getting the some of the NHL preview stuff done. We've been doing some golf talk. It's been a good 3-week stretch of podcasts here.
Only shit I know about. Right? See, half the shit I would just honestly do research beforehand. I actually know this shit, so I'm looking forward to it. It'll be good.
We had our Ryder Cup preview last week with Max Kleben, which was great. Rav and I have been doing some NHL redrafts as part of our preview for the NHL season. This weekend, I went to Edmonton for an SYP takeover in Edmonton. We're recording this on Monday, September 27th, night of. Did you do anything eventful this weekend?
Yeah, a lot of things. I worked Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Met Jerome McGinley actually this weekend.
Oh, did you? Hey, Edmonton native Jerome McGinley.
Edmonton native Jerome McGinley. Yeah, he was at the store with his two boys and his wife, and they were getting their kids some true custom skates.
He's coaching in Kelowna, isn't he?
He coaches for the Rink Academy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you tell him to follow SYP?
I didn't know he was busy, and normally I'm not supposed to interrupt a customer if I'm not directly helping them. So I did what I was supposed to. I'll tell a quick story, hockey related. So it was one of the first days I was working at FY viewers. I work at Chevy's Source for Sports, which is a hockey store in Kelowna, the best hockey store in the Okanagan, by the way. So go check it out.
What's your competition?
There is none. We are the best. There is us. We are so high on a pedestal. We're on top of the Empire State Building. Then there's the ground, and there's 50 feet of shit, and there's everyone else.
What you're saying is you're the Alabama football of hockey stores in the Okanagan.
Yes, we are. It's too easy. We are the best.
What's your story? Is this the Scott Niedermayer story?
Yeah, I probably told it before, but yeah. So one of my first days, I met Scotty Niedermayer, and I was freaking out because I was like, I want to get a picture of this guy so badly, and my colleagues were like, no, you can't because you're working, and I was hoping I would be a customer that day and run into him, but unfortunately, that's not how it works. But yeah. Anyway, so I met another legend, Jerome McGinley, earlier this week, in between partying and drinking and having a good time with the boys. And actually, we have a good squad up here, so it was a good weekend. But I worked a lot, so I'm tired.
I was gonna say, did you go out to clubs? Are clubs open?
Clubs? Clubs, no, not in the way they should be or we expect them to be. Their bars are open, but again, you're only allowed 6 people at a table and you can't intermingle. So if you have our issue, we have a group of 20 of us, so it's kind of hard to intermingle at restaurants and stuff. So we try to avoid doing that, but what can you do?
So yeah, busy weekend. Yep. I just got back from Edmonton today.
Yep.
Alberta's wild, man. It's I don't want to say it. It's a weird place, but not weird in quirky way like Portland. Okay. It's weird in the sense, I don't know how to describe it. This isn't even me talking COVID related. So people I stayed with, Armin, friend of the pod. He's been on a few times. Great guy.
He's technically a creator, isn't he?
Marketing director, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what.
Marketing director? That's what he technically is. Anyways, pardon?
You gave it to him.
That sounds right. We went to Rogers Place. We tried to go. We did go to Rogers Place. We tried to watch a hockey game at Rogers Place, and you've seen pictures and videos of Rogers Place. That little hanging that walkway over top of the road in front of the arena.
Yes.
Of Rogers.
Yes. Yep.
So that's all the ice district, which is all supposed. I don't know how well you probably been to Edmonton.
Well,
you probably.
Isn't it attached to the JW Marriott, which is
it's attached to the couple hotels that the players used at the bubble last year to go walk across. Behind the hockey arena, is absolutely nothing, and a homeless shelter. And there's a bunch of homeless people who are walking around the area.
Shit. Okay.
And
Huh.
there's like a mix. It's like a mix of like gentrification, where they are building stuff, but there's quite a number of like homeless people,
Mhm.
people on the street. It's weird. I really enjoyed going. I had an awesome time. I'm glad I did go. I covered rugby sevens this weekend. The rugby sevens was terrific. I was talking with some of the players at the Edmonton International Airport this morning.
There you
Got to
go. No way.
got to talk to some of them. Olivia Apps, who is the Canada women's captain this weekend.
Yep.
It's a great event. Commonwealth Stadium kind of represents Edmonton in a whole, as Edmonton is living in both 1986 and 2021 at the same exact time.
Yep.
And Commonwealth is a great representation of that, where the Wi-Fi was shit all weekend. But the stadium's like still fairly renovated, like, you know, still fairly new in most places.
Sounds like you have a first world problem there, big guy.
It is. It's all first world problems, because I'm coming from, you know, Vancouver, and I'm used to, like, as the entitled, you know, white male trying to do media. I need Wi-Fi. I need good coffee. I need, you know, my interviews and all this sort of stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, and then Friday night, we were gonna go to the Oil Kings game. We didn't get to go. Went to the Pint with Armin.
The Pint. Okay, that's
Pint.
is this the spot in Edmonton?
One of the spots apparently. This is on White Avenue.
Oh, okay. White Ave, the hub. Yeah.
White Ave. You know, we got a picture. We got some wings. We were talking football. We were having a conversation, and then you know how it goes when one picture turns into another picture, and then you just keep drinking, and then you keep chatting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then we walked to Cook County Saloon and Bar, which is like a block and a half away.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure if I'm gonna get COVID from Edmonton, it's in Cook County Saloon, where the only people wearing masks were me and the security guards.
Ah, interesting. So you were the oddball in this.
I was very much the oddball. Again, I got called soybean in the bathroom, or soy boy. I got called soy boy in the bathroom by somebody, so that was cool. Yeah. And people who know me know I'm not a country music fan, which I think I could get over that. I got over it by the end of it, by the time we were leaving, because I think I already had so many drinks and so many shots that I think it kind of just like I just kind of went with it.
You started vibing to it.
I don't know if vibing is the right word. I think like the whole trip, like by the end of it, it's like I just accepted it. Like I just realized like this is what it is. This is what I got myself into. This is where I am.
Hey, you did decide to go to Edmonton yourself.
I did. So we covered rugby. We had a nice dinner last night, steak dinner. The Sawmill, or the Mill, on the Calgary Trail. Go check it out. They're not sponsoring this.
They should be.
They should be. And yeah, flew Flair all weekend. Shout out Flair. I think this was my first flight since Japan, since I went to Japan like 2 years ago now.
Didn't you fly up? Oh no, did you fly up to see us, or did you drive when you came?
I drove for Super Bowl.
Oh, you drove. Okay, that's right. Yeah, right.
So pretty much, yeah, I haven't flown since Japan. And Flair, I was impressed with. They were efficient. They were really kind. They were really nice. They were very helpful the entire weekend. Wow. Highly recommend Flair.
There you go. I didn't think Flair was reliable, but here we are. You're telling me otherwise. I didn't think Flair was that reliable, but here we are.
Well, tell that to Ian earlier today, who got his flight delayed by an hour because the plane was late coming into Edmonton.
Oh, so there it is. You weren't telling us that. You were about to just move on from that, but.
Well, it wasn't that big of a deal because I got work done today.
Okay, well.
And an hour is like, I've had worse. Like I've been delayed for like 3 or 4 hours. Like an hour.
Yeah, true. But think about this. If you hadn't been an hour late in Edmonton, you wouldn't have been caught behind the Port Mann Bridge traffic, which
no, that was at like 10 a.m. this morning. There was like I'd crash at 10 a.m. on Port Mann Bridge. Okay. I was screwed either way with that. By the way, best wishes to people involved in the accidents. You know, like those gravel trucks?
Yeah. Oh God.
Like, no, like the actual front of the gravel truck was absolutely just ripped to shreds. Like absolutely totaled, ripped, grill, everything.
Wow.
I have no idea what happened, but I saw that when I was going through, and I was like, "Good Lord, that was awful." Any other exciting? I mean, again, shout out Armin and Alexis for also picking me up and driving me to the stadium multiple times out of their way. Didn't have to do it. They did that. They drove me to get me they drove to the airport to pick me up on Friday, then took me to the stadium to get my accreditation. Then
Yep.
we went back to like awesome guests or awesome hosts. I was
Oh,
a
they're the
decent
best.
guest.
Yeah, they're the best.
Yeah, Edmonton.
Think about it like this. It all evens out. So I drove them around a bit when they were here when they were in Squamish in July.
Yeah.
You drove me to Victoria, and then they drove you. So it all works out, right?
Well, and apparently next summer we're gonna have to go to the Stampede in Calgary, and we're
Oh
doing an
no,
SYP Stampede takeover.
we're going. There's no.
So
We're going. Yeah.
fortunately, again, COVID will still be there in when is it, July or August, so we can get COVID, try and get COVID again.
Mid July. So mid July they'll be COVID again. All right.
Hell yeah.
Hey, I'm coming
Oh,
back. So let's go.
well, do you know how, so in Alberta they have, I tried to show them my QR code because that's how it is here.
Yeah.
And nobody in Alberta had any clue what I was talking about with a QR code.
What?
They were like, I can I just see your card? And so basically I showed them my card. But do you know in Alberta, they're not called vaccine like passports, or it's the restrictions exemption program.
The reps.
And
The rep.
yeah, we're getting reps in, boys.
We're getting
and pretty much they have cards, like actual cards, right?
Sure.
Like what kind of like what we have, but it's too big for your wallet.
Okay.
And it's in a PDF, so you can essentially just edit it to say that you are double vax, even though you haven't been.
That is wildly inconvenient, I must say.
Oh yeah, totally inconvenient. And I'm like the guy who pulling out my card, and people are like, "BC, why the hell are you here?" And I'd had to try and tell them that I was here for rugby, and no one knew what rugby sevens was or why I was going to Commonwealth at 9 a.m. on a Saturday.
Right, because no one is awake in Edmonton at 9 a.m. on a Saturday. They're like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Well, and nobody, I think there was about 30,000 people each day at sevens in Edmonton. Like, it was a pretty good turnout.
Oh, that's a lot.
But there was like going out, like the places, like people had no idea what like my Uber drivers had no idea what rugby sevens was. People at the bars had no idea. And actually one guy at Cook County knew. Otherwise, nobody else knew. And yeah.
There you go. I guess were the Eskimos on the road? They must have been on the road this weekend.
Well, they're not the Eskimos.
Oh, sorry, the Elks. Sorry, yeah, the Elks.
Yeah, the Elks were on the road. Actually, I don't think they might have had a bye this weekend.
They might probably because of the rugby sevens. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. But look out, Alberta. We'll be back in July.
Yeah.
I know we talked about World Juniors, but I don't know if that will happen. We'll see.
I don't know.
That's looking a bit more sketchy now.
It is. I will say I'm gonna really enjoy watching them on TV at home in Squamish.
We should do some watch parties, I think, at home, together.
Definitely doing watch parties when we're back.
All right.
I think that's definitely gonna happen for sure.
Speaking of watch parties, over sevens, I was watching the Ryder Cup. I was watching about the Ryder Cup a few times with, I don't know, a dozen people all standing around on a TV, just chilling, watching Ryder Cup. My Team USA won 19-9 over Team Europe. I watched some of it, but not a whole lot. Absolute blowout.
Honestly, after Friday, it was really boring because at that point we kind of knew who was gonna win.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was watching on the weekend. It's like there's no way USA is gonna blow this, right? There's no way.
No. I mean, it has happened before. There have been comebacks from going into a Saturday with a lead that big. There have been comebacks, but once it was 11-5, there's no coming back from that.
Yeah, I think I saw when it was before the afternoon four balls, when I saw 9-3.
Yep.
And you needed, 14.5 to win. and it was 9-3. It's like I seriously doubt Europe's gonna get like 11.5 points in the next 18 hours,
It's
36 hours.
It would have been hard, and just the sheer talent. I mean, you look at the roster, like we talked about this on the preview last week, but you look at the roster beforehand, like basically all of Team USA was within the top 30 of the World Cup rankings, and where Team Europe, like Rom was number 1, and Hovland's like top. I think he's 12 or 13 now, but other than that, like no one's really in. Like there's a lot of guys that are like high 80s, high 90s, even like beyond that. So,
did you have a highlight from the Weekend of Ryder Cup?
Yeah, there's a few. I have a few. I have a couple I'll share. The shot from Spieth where he basically hit a flop shot to the moon was ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
That was ridiculous. I could not see that ball, and the fact he picked it clean and put it to a foot, unbelievable. So
that when I saw that shot, I'm like, oh, he's fucking on.
He's on, dude. Spieth was really good, to be fair. He was pretty solid throughout. He had a couple lapses, but he wasn't Team USA's best player by any means. But
no, but I saw that shot, and I'm like, that's gonna be if they're gonna be doing that all weekend, it's gonna be really tough to match.
It's gonna be trouble. Justin Thomas, my guy, was hyped up after one of the putts he nailed. It was like a 20-foot breaker, which was not going in, but it did. So he went nuts. Also, you're about to say something. I'm going to take the words out of your mouth. When him and I think it was Daniel Berger.
Yeah, when they were shotgunning beers.
Hit shotguns on the first tee. People don't like it because it's like classic, like arrogance.
No, it's not. My dad always taught me this, have golf etiquette.
Yeah.
When you play, and shotgunning beers on the first hole probably wouldn't have been his, dictionary definition of golf etiquette.
Right.
I thought it was cool. I thought it was fun. That's what we're trying to make golf, right? It's fun and entertaining.
Yeah. And it wasn't like it was publicized. It wasn't like on national television. It was videos from fans that took it. And this was well behind like the actual TV broadcast. I don't have a problem with it either. Like on tour, it would never fly. Like if you're recording it live on TV, no, I don't think it's the right move. But again, the boys are fired up. It's the Ryder Cup of all things. This is the one tournament where shit like that flies, and guys can celly after making a 20-footer, whereas normally they don't, right? So
my two highlights: the Morikawa shot, the tee shot, I believe, where he it lands in the rough, but he bounces it, like it rolls all the way to like 3 feet to the pin.
Oh, yep.
I thought that was a great shot. And then at the end of the tournament, when Bryson DeChambeau are doing they're trying to bro hug, but you can sense the uncomfortableness in Brooks Koepka. Bryson, I totally relate to Bryson. I in that whole sequence of like trying to be like, you're trying to be buddies with everybody, right? Like you're like, yeah, we just won a major event. Let's go. Let's do this. Like you don't give a shit who it is. You just won. And then Brooks like, I don't like you. You're really fucking annoying. But we won, so it's okay.
Honestly, like, I mean, based on that limited interaction, and I think the team was really close. And I mean, let's be real, they're one of the best Ryder Cup teams of all time. I think they all got close, and that includes Brooks and Bryson.
Arguably the MVP of the weekend, you could say Dustin Johnson. He got 5 of
DJ without a question is the MVP.
5-0, 5 points in 5 matches.
Yep.
Absolutely nailed it.
It was automatic. I will say though, like if there's a John Sebastian Zaguer Conn Smythe winner, it goes to Jon Rahm, who, by the way, based on like scoring, a stroke play scoring, he was 16 under for the week.
Yeah, he had a really good weekend. I was going back on looking at the stats from the players. It's just like, oh yeah, Rahm like was really doing his best to carry Team Europe, and it just didn't work out, unfortunately.
I was also impressed with Sergio Garcia. People were saying, oh, he's gonna play like shit. He was actually pretty good.
Yeah. He got the second most points for Team Europe during the weekend.
Yep.
So pretty good Ryder Cup action unless you're a Team Europe fan.
The Spaniards did carry Team Europe there.
Tough weekend for Paul Casey, Matthew Fitzpatrick, and Bern Weisberger. All three of them didn't.
Rory McIlroy is another guy too.
Rory, yeah, he had a tough weekend as well. Like, because like I'm looking at the points, right? And like Hovland's got 1 point in 5 matches. Shane Lowry's got 1 point in 3 matches. McIlroy's got 1.4 matches. Ian Poulter, Lee Westwood, 1 point. Like you I think you're looking Tommy Fleetwood, my boy, only 1 point. I think you're wanting more from Hovland and McIlroy coming into this weekend, for sure. While also like, you know, hoping that Lee Westwood and Tommy Fleetwood can
do something.
Push you over the edge.
I mean, I'm not sure if you saw the McIlroy interview. He was like emotional after, like, post round on Sunday. He was like so disappointed in himself. He was mad at himself. No, it wasn't nothing else to it. He was just very disappointed in himself, and he would brought to tears almost. I believe I didn't actually watch it, but I just from reading and what I saw. So it's
gonna be interesting. I'm fascinated to see 2 years from now when it's in Italy. Hopefully I'll be there and I can go when I'm covering the Rugby World Cup. I'm interested to see how this course, because I think this course didn't really like, it wasn't really for like McIlroy per se. I think it was more meant for like the DJs Brysons.
The big well, Rory's a big hitter too. And
yeah. But I don't think of Rory like, I think Rory is like much better at the technical side, like the wedges and the chips and, you know, his irons than just Bryson, and maybe even DJ. DJ struggled a bit this year, so maybe that's a bit of a hot take. But I think that's what this course in Italy that they're going to is more set up for, is like not long hitting. It's like you have to play a technical, like your first shot has to be good, but so does your second, third, and
finesse game. Well, again, that's why this week you saw guys like Schauffele and Morikawa that, you know, are great players. Don't get me wrong, but they weren't at the top of their teams. But again, on a course like, I haven't seen the course in Italy yet, but based on what you're saying, like Schauffele and Morikawa are elite iron players, and Justin Thomas was pretty solid this weekend, but he'd be a guy that would put on a show there too. So again, you're right, and there's a part of that, but I think that's what makes McIlroy so good is that he's able to play every course so well. It just, this week wasn't his week. He grew up in Northern Ireland. He knows how to play links courses. That's not the problem. Okay. I don't think it's an issue. I think it's more about, it just wasn't his week. He wasn't dialed in for
this weekend. Was just a setup for the U.S. to win, like more than Team Europe.
Yeah, and Team USA had a better team, younger, more talented. Just the odds were stacked against the European, and that's just how it goes. Like tough one for Team Europe. Again,
can't wait till 2 years from now. Hopefully we'll be there. At least I'll be there. You should come too. It's the SYP, you know, it's not the Lampoon European Vacation, it's the National Lampoon European Vacation. It's the SYP European Vacation.
Yeah.
That's what we're going for. Any other final thoughts? Because we got a NHL division division preview we're doing tonight.
Yeah. I know you briefly mentioned DeChambeau, but I just want to shout, man, he drove the green on the first hole. That was way too hype. That was way too hype, man. I know
that was the other one. When I saw that one, like when I saw the Spieth shot and the DeChambeau shot, I'm like, okay.
Well, so there was, I mean, DeChambeau drove the ball long all weekend, but there's the one where he drove the green, and then there's the one on the 13th, the par 5, where you can cut it over the lake and over all those bunkers. So Scheffler hits one to like 310, and we're like, okay, this is pretty good. You know, he's in a great spot. He can probably get home in 2. DeChambeau casually hits it 417 yards down, albeit downwind. So it leaves him 72 yards to the green. And we're like, what the fuck? Like, he literally got a half a wedge. He's got a half wedge in for albatross on a par 5. He makes eagle. Like, yeah.
The dude's really good, man. Like, I love him or hate him, and he's a bit tough to root for as a fan. But like as a guy, I like him. He can be a bit challenging to root for, like personality wise.
Sure.
But the dude's good. He's really fucking good.
Good player. Yeah.
So
And again, not even that, his driving game was really good, but again, he knocked some shots close. On 17th, he put one to about
yeah,
5 feet, made the birdie, and he was solid. He wasn't DJ, he wasn't Morikawa, he wasn't up, super great with those guys, but he played solid. He won a couple
he
matches, got some points.
he put himself and his team in a position to win. Is
Exactly,
what he did.
exactly. And I mean, it was
Uh,
really fun watching him play because remember they played like the four ball best ball, right?
yeah,
So in those, if like because he played with Scheffler in one of the matches, and Scheffler's really pretty just solid, like consistent player. DeChambeau, if Scheffler's in the middle, he can just wail on one. And sure enough, that's what happened on 13. And there's several occasions like on one as well when he drove the green, like just two great situations there, right? So no, it was fun. It was fun to watch for sure.
um, yeah. I again, I think now you have to say, Bryson DeChambeau, team player,
Yeah, I would say so.
put the country on his back.
100%.
All right, we're gonna move on. Great golf talk. Now we're
Yeah.
gonna discuss some hockey. We've
Sure.
already got into preseason games.
Yeah, can you believe that?
God,
I
where does
love
the time go?
Oh, it's so good.
So we're gonna we've already previewed the Atlantic. We've already previewed the Metro. Tonight, this podcast, we're gonna be previewing the Central Division. Okay,
We're moving west.
we're moving west. This is a division that is wide open. Scott,
Well, not really. Kind of.
Scott, Scott,
Yeah.
I want to tell you that nature is healing today
Okay.
because I'm back in Vancouver and it's pouring rain. I've been
Yeah.
in sun all weekend. It's pouring rain. The traffic sucks, even just in downtown, in Burnaby, not even accident related, just general volume.
Okay.
And we're going to argue if the Dallas Stars are a playoff team or not. Nature is healing, my
Nature is
friend.
healing. Not every year is like that, though. Let's be real. Every year we argue this. One year
We
they're in the cup, and one year they miss the playoffs.
we are, one might say, we're back to normal.
I mean, based on your weekend, you're back to normal.
Pretty
Based on
much.
the happenings of your weekend, Ian sits on his phone and watches the Mariners in a bar that's packed with people. It's about right.
At least they won. Okay, I would be very.
Hey, they did win, but they're still not making the playoffs. The Blue Jays are.
Okay,
FYI.
we'll talk about. Okay, fuck. You know what? I am sidebarring here, so I can check the standings because fuck, the Mariners are losing as we speak. So, the Mariners are 2 games back of the wild card. The Blue Jays are 1 game back. Yankees and Red Sox are top 2 teams. By the way, I know I bring this up every time we talk about baseball. The Blue Jays have a plus 172 run differential.
Yep.
Which is only behind Tampa Bay and Houston in the AL.
Yep.
And the Mariners run differential is negative 61, which is still worse than Cleveland and Detroit.
Who are not even close to the playoffs.
Not even, they're both eliminated.
Not even close. Yeah, there you go.
All right. So nature's healing. We're back to normal. You can't even say COVID. What is COVID? COVID's not even real. Speaking of COVID not being real, let's start in Arizona. We're going to preview the Coyotes.
Yeah, that's a good place to start because they're going to be last. We're starting at the bottom, and we're really starting at the bottom for this one.
Okay. I just want to say, I actually don't mind some of the Coyotes.
No, talk about no. You can't say that. No, Kessel's good, but he's gonna get traded. Keller's good, he's gonna get traded. Just this team's a fire sale. Move him to Quebec. Next team, let's go.
You have Clayton Keller, Phil Kessel.
Yep. And that's it.
Barrett Hayton.
Okay, he's okay. He's all right.
I don't mind Christian Fisher.
Okay, now you're reaching. No, you're reaching. You're
Jacob
reaching.
Chikrin.
Okay, yeah, Chikrin's good. I'll give you that one.
I think Ghost is slightly overpaid, but I don't mind Shane Gostis fair.
Overrated.
And then I really I like Carter Hutton and Joseph Corner as backup goalies. I don't like the fact that one of these guys is going to be the starting goalie for this team this upcoming season. But and you know what? You know what? Another redeeming quality. They're going to full Kachinas this year. They are going back to full Kachinas.
Can we say the X factor is the Kachina jerseys?
That's the X factor is the Kachinas. If they don't do well in Kachinas, they probably shouldn't be in Arizona anymore. But
No.
they won't be in Arizona much longer anyways, because this is their final season at Gila River Arena, because the city of Glendale decided not to renew the team's operating agreement next year. So This is the last year in Glendale anyways.
Yep. Hey, let's move on because this team's gonna suck. They're obviously
hold on. I'm not getting you off the hook that easy. Who is your X factor on the Coyotes this year?
Clayton Keller. Yeah, he's my X factor. He's gotta put up like 80 points for this team to like not be in the basement, and they have to get some sort of goaltending from Carter Hutton. I don't know what else to say, and like there's not much to say here. They basically got half of the Canucks and all their shit contracts.
How would you feel if I said Antoine Roussel was an X factor on this team this upcoming season?
Keith would probably slap you. To be honest, Keith would probably slap you and say, Ian, you're an idiot. And yeah, no, try again. Yeah, try again.
I think I'd still rather go to a Coyotes game than a Canucks game.
Because the seats are cheap. That's probably why.
And I like the arena more.
Fair.
All right. Nashville? You want to go with Nashville? Is that the next team you want to discuss in the Central?
We can talk about Nashville. It's not the next team I have in this list, but yeah, let's talk about Nashville. Sure.
All right. So the Predators did diddly squat over the offseason.
Yeah, that's about right.
They got David Riddick.
That's something, right?
So what are the Predators now? Like they're sellers, right?
I would hope so. Man, I would sure hope so. Like
this central division preview is really intriguing right now, isn't it? Going to the Coyotes to the
I mean, we've also picked like the two worst teams to talk about to start, to be honest.
They traded Ryan Ellis.
Yep. Philippe Myers is in, Cody Glass is in, out of that whole trade tree type thing. Glass and Myers are in, which I think are maybe not upgrades from Ellis, but Glass is good. They needed a second line center and they finally got it now. So I don't mind that.
Pekka Renner retired.
Pekka Rinne's retired, so UC Saros is the full-time starter on this team. Honestly, like
I don't actually like their top 9 is like okay. With
they're like on paper, their forward group's pretty good. To be honest,
I'm not gonna go as far as say like pretty good, because we are talking about like Matt Duchene and Ryan Johansson have not really lived up to their production.
That's also true, and neither of them are worth $8 million, but that's
no
paid. So,
Eli Tolvanen, I actually don't mind. Cody Glass.
Eli Tolvanen's good. Cody Glass, he's got to. I mean, he's my X factor. He's got to be good this year for them to have like any kind of chance. And then, I can talk about Johansson and Duchene too, but they got to be good, obviously, as well.
Is this the okay? So pretty much, yeah. So pretty much with Nashville, they're in this. They're like the Seattle Mariners when they had like Cano and Cruz. This is what I feel about like the Predators. It's like this team is too good to be shit, but they're also like not good enough to be a contender.
That's true. Actually, that's a good comparison. Like Roman Yossi is one of the best defensemen in the NHL.
Yes,
Still to this day.
Yossi and Ekholm are still two of the best defensemen in the NHL right now.
Well, Ekholm, I don't know. Yossi, yeah. Ekholm.
Okay, well, we'll stick with Yossi.
Ekholm's a really solid shutdown defenseman. Don't get that's true, but overall, it's nothing special.
Okay, so with that being said,
yep.
The Predators, I think, are going to struggle this year because they're basically just waiting for Yaroslav Askarov to get to the show and be their new goalie of the future.
Yep.
You said Cody Glass was your X factor.
Definitely.
Philip Tomasinu is somebody I'm also going to be interested in for the Predators. He might be the third line center. I'll say Dante Fabro, Okanagan guy.
Yeah, hey, there you go.
He's been spending his summers on Okanagan Lake.
Yeah.
Jet skiing.
He's a boat guy. He's been on a boat.
He's a boat guy.
Probably goes to the boat types. He might in the summers.
He probably I think he's got a girlfriend, but he probably takes his awesome girlfriend to like Rattlesnake Island, and they probably just hang out, there.
Yeah.
Former Pentic and V.
Yeah.
Go Dante Fabro.
Go Fabro. I mean, don't get I like the players on the Predators themselves, but I think you said something earlier along those lines. Like they have a good team. They're a good team of players. They're just as a team. They're just I don't know. It's just a big disconnect.
Here's the thing. I'm willing to bet against the Predators, and I'm okay to be wrong about it.
Okay.
I am. If the Predators make the playoffs, I'm not going to be upset because that means that they must have done something right, or somebody has had a really good season outside of Philip Forsberg
and Roman Yossi
and Yossi.
Yeah, so I like that. That's fair. That's a fair statement to say.
All right. Who's next on your list?
Let's talk about Dallas.
Are we gonna have this conversation now?
Oh, do you want to go with Minnesota next?
No, let's do Dallas.
Okay, let's do Dallas. Sure. Let's have this. Let's argue.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that you're on the side of that they're gonna make the playoffs.
No. They aren't.
Oh, you're not. Okay, we're on the same.
We're on the same side here. Okay, good. Okay. Listen, these guys have been frauds. They weren't really these guys were not good enough to make we're gonna this is not the same team that made the Cup Finals 2 years ago.
Nope.
This team was not good then, even though I jokingly picked them to make the finals. I did it as a satirical meme, not as an actual real prediction. Yeah. And I don't know. I would rather see. I think I prefer Nashville. I want to see Nashville make the playoffs more than I want to see the Stars make the playoffs. I think.
Okay.
Because we're dealing with Anton Khudobin and Braden Holtby in net. Yep. Because Bishop, we don't know if he's actually good.
True.
Braden Holtby was not good last year.
Nope.
I'm almost willing to give him the benefit of the doubt because he moved to Vancouver. He played in Canada. It was a weird season.
Yeah,
he didn't
COVID basically destroyed the Canucks.
Yeah, the Canucks were just absolutely finished by the end of the year. I think their defense is not bad. With Esa Lindell, Heiskanen is really good. Ryan Suter is going to be a weird mix in there. John Klingberg.
I'm with you. I think Dallas's decor is one of the better decors in the league. Heiskanen is really exciting. Klingberg's very good. Ryan Suter, I think, is a great addition, especially because in Minnesota he was playing 25 minutes a game. He's not going to have to do that in Dallas.
No, I think because this was the summer of high profile defenseman moving from Seth Jones to
Dougie Hamilton. Ryan
and
Suter.
Ryan Suter. I would think I would almost take Suter over over the cost. If I'm looking at the cost of what I'm paying for those, I mean, I probably would take Dougie Hamilton, but Suter at like 17 or 18 minutes a night, that seems like a really fair deal.
You'd rather have Suter than Seth Jones on your team? Is that what you're saying to me?
Well, cost wise, I want to see what Suter's making, because isn't Suter like on a reasonable deal?
Reasonable-ish, yeah, ish.
I'm pulling it up now. 4 years, 14.6 million. Yeah, I don't know about 4 years at 36, but 14, you're paying
it's like $3.5 million.
Yeah, 3.5. I think I'd like that cost, the cost of that more than Seth Jones at 9.5.
Okay, but again, let's not forget Seth Jones is also a right shot defenseman. And he's an absolute minute muncher, and he's a two-way force, whereas Suter's not quite that anymore.
No, that's true.
Anyway, we'll talk about Seth Jones more later.
Yeah, we'll talk about him later on. My favorite addition to the Stars this year is Luke Glendening.
Okay, well, yeah, it's a little biased, but okay.
Well, he's going to win every faceoff and provide no other substantial value outside of winning faceoffs.
Sure.
And yeah.
Okay. Who's your
I think if this team, I know I've said it before with some teams in the past, I think if this team is going to be successful with Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn, it would have already happened.
Wow.
I think there's an argument to be made that Joe Pavelski has been the most valuable Stars forward for the last 2 years.
Since he signed with
since he signed with the Stars, I think he's been their most valuable forward.
That's a hot take right there. But honestly, there's evidence behind that. I like that. So your X factor then?
My X factor?
Yep.
You know what? I'll go Jason Robertson.
Okay. I was hoping one of us would say that.
I'll go with Jason Robertson. Dude, he was probably going to be the call, like if it wasn't for what's his name?
Caprichov.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Caprichov, Robertson probably would have been up there for Calder, maybe Kevin Lankinen as well. But Robertson last year, he's now 22, also a 99 birth year. 45 points in 51 games last year.
It's pretty good. That is pretty good. He played a big role in that team. I think he played mostly second line minutes. So
yeah, I'm saying Jason Robertson. Who are you saying as an X factor on the Stars?
Tyler Seguin. It's kind of that's obvious, but it's a Tyler Seguin show. If he's churning out points, if he's putting pucks in the net, if he gets 40 goals and he has 80 points, who knows?
Are we gonna pull the if they don't do well this season card? Maybe they each have no movement clauses, but if Sagan's only 29 still, which I find hard to believe. Jamie Benn's 32.
Yeah, it feels like Sagan's been in the league for forever.
Are you on Cap Friendly right now?
I'm not. No.
I don't go on it. How much what is Joe Pavelski's cap hit for this season with the Stars?
He had a weird contract. It was like
he's got one more year left. He's 37. He's got one more year left on a modified no trade clause. What is Joe Pavelski's cap hit this season?
$5 million.
Higher.
What?
Yeah.
$7 million.
It is $7 million.
Yeah.
He is making more than Alex Radulov.
Bruh. Wow.
Not making as much as Miro Heiskanen, but anyways.
Yeah.
So Dallas is not making the playoffs.
No.
All right.
No, we both agree. Were you thinking that I was going to say that they were?
No, I just feel like we have the yearly conversation every year on like if the Stars are a playoff team.
That's true. That is very true. I mean, again, they have to have everything go right. I mean, every team does, but they actually have to have everything go right, including a great goaltending performance from Holtby, Khudobin, Bishop, whoever the fuck is in that.
I do think Holtby will bounce back a bit.
Okay.
Like I don't think his season, like I think he's probably like somewhere in between like his last year in Washington and this year, like this past year in Vancouver.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. No shit.
He's probably like he's somewhere. He might even be better than like how it ended in Washington. But I do think he's gonna be. He's not gonna be as bad as he was in Vancouver.
No, I
will
think
promise
yeah.
you that.
He's due for a bounce back year, just like our buddy Carter Hart. So he'll
he'll do for his Turtles. He'll do that.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. I like that.
All right. Minnesota.
Let's talk about Minnesota.
Okay. So you can make. I think I could make the argument. I don't know if it's a good one, but I think I could make the argument that Curiel Caprichov is the most valuable player in franchise history. And I think last season was the Wild's best season of all time.
It was, yeah. Oh, 100%. I mean, that's why the Wild gave him $9 million a year for the next 5 years.
So
big money for a second-year player, basically.
Pretty much. Who had some success in Russia before coming over.
Yeah, yes, but still,
NHL-wise.
KHL success doesn't always translate to the NHL.
So, with that being said, outside of Kaprizov, this team is still kind of a mixed bag of players, I think.
Minnesota's always a mixed bag, but you're right. No, you're 100% right. I mean, okay, Suter's gone, which sucks, which is gonna hurt them minutes wise and finding a guy to play shutdown minutes. But Spurgeon's really good.
Former Spokane Chief Jared Spurgeon.
Dumba's really good. Brodin's really solid. Goligoski is going to be a solid top 4 addition there. But you're so right. It's still a mixed bag. Like this.
All right. Let's just say SYP. Let's just say I think we are officially putting our hat in the ring or making a motion for the Wild to trade for Jack Eichel. Because you don't want your Ducks to trade for Eichel because that means you have to give up Drysdale or Zegras.
That's correct.
The Rangers aren't going to be able to get him because Buffalo won't trade him within New York.
Yep.
The Kings won't give up the assets to get Eichel. Minnesota might have the assets to do it.
State of hockey. It's in the United States. It's out of conference.
Give Kaprizov a center to help him succeed at the NHL level.
It'd be a pretty dynamic 1-2 punch right up the middle there. Honestly, Eichel's probably one of Eichel's teams that he could go to, and he might go there. Yeah. I mean, just look at this depth chart. Ryan Hartman's not a second line center. There's no way. Eriksson Ek's barely a first line center. He should probably play second line. They could use a 1C, and Eichel would be the perfect 1C in Minnesota.
So yeah, you trade. I'm trying to see here who you could trade.
Marco Rossi.
Yeah, Rossi or Boldy.
Rossi.
So you do.
Yep.
You do Rossi.
You might have to give up Fiala or Rask.
I was going to say Rask. Maybe sign him to an extension before you trade him, so Buffalo has a contract that they can, lean on.
Yeah. And 2 high draft picks. One of them's got to be a first.
For your first round pick for the next 2 years.
Yeah. Yep. That's reasonable.
Do it. Somebody trade for Jack Eichel already.
Yeah, enough waiting around.
The other thing I want to mention about Minnesota, one of the other moves that I really liked from them this offseason, they picked up Jesper Wallstedt.
In the draft, yeah.
That's true. And I mean, I know he's not going to be their goalie this season.
Or the year after, but year after that.
Or the year after that. But, I mean, he could be, he's somebody that I like how they traded up for him, they got him,
Yeah.
and they have a
Yeah,
goalie in the
even though the
pipeline.
Wild traded up, he still fell in the draft. Watson was supposed to go top 15, and he
Yeah.
went at 20 to the Wild, which goes to show, the Wild obviously traded up and got him, which is great. And yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, man. Like he has the potential to be the best goalie out of this draft. Potential.
Also, shout out to the Wild because they drafted two Kamloops Blazers forwards in the last draft.
They did.
Who's your X factor with the Wild?
Everyone's gonna say Caprichov. I'm gonna say Eric Zanek.
Okay,
He's
that's a good player actually to say.
He's starting to become an elite defensive center, and if he can kind of twist it into becoming an elite two-way center game, then maybe trading for Eichel is just like they have a sick 1-2 punch down the middle. Yeah, I mean, if he's going to be really good, then that's going to help the Wild a lot. Again, hard to say if they're going to make the playoffs. They'll be like fighting for the last wildcard spot, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
I'm kind of surprised you didn't take my pick of Nico Sturm.
That's your X factor?
That's my X factor for the Wild this upcoming season.
Yep.
So
why is that?
So he's a bit older, 26.
Yep.
He is a center. I think he's someone, if he has like 30 or 40 points maybe for this team this year, he could work his way up to second line center.
There you go. I think, there's no way Hartman's a 2C. He's got to be at least 3. So I like that actually. If Sturm plays out of his mind, he might be there.
I mean, I think the move for the Wild is to get Eichel, because then you have another superstar to build around. Not that they have trouble like selling tickets or selling merch or whatever in Minnesota, but
they just kind of cracked like high profile free agents. I mean, outside of Steven Friese, who are, by the way, both got bought out this year, FYI, and are both different teams. It's tough, but if they can get Eichel, that'd be huge.
So I like the Wild. I don't know if I like them to make the playoff. I mean, so tough after last year.
It is.
We have 4 teams left to talk about.
Yep.
Which of the 4 would you like to discuss next?
We should go talk about Chicago, because there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to unpack here.
So I first want to mention the fact that this team is still under investigation from the league for their sexual assault, rape allegations that took place during the 2010 Stanley Cup playoff run. Yeah. Which, I mean, I know nobody's talking about it now because that's not how the news works, where it just goes in a cycle. Right. And basically it's just people talk about it, it seems like, whenever it's convenient for them. We haven't talked about it a whole lot, but it is something that I feel like it should be mentioned and it should be brought up.
For sure. Oh, definitely.
And the guy who's running it for the Blackhawks, Stan Bowman, I believe he will not be with Team USA at the 2022 Olympics for the Americans. So I don't know. That's a sketchy situation going on there with the Blackhawks.
No kidding.
So stuff off the ice is not looking good. On the ice, they there's a lot, like I said off the top, there's a lot to unpack here. There's a lot, I'm gonna say. There's a lot of change in this team, that's for sure. So in no particular order, just naming guys, right? Tyler Johnson now on the team.
Yep.
Seth Jones, Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yep.
Jujhar Khaira.
Yep.
I think Lucas Reichel is maybe, if he's going to be more of a full-time player on the team now this year.
Reichel's going to make this team.
Reichel will make this team, says Scott.
That's my hot take. He will make this team.
Jonathan Toews maybe is going to be back for a full season healthy.
Yep.
Kirby Dach is going to be playing for a full season, as he missed last year with a wrist injury playing in the World Juniors.
Yep. Caleb Jones also.
Caleb Jones is on this team too. That's another guy. Jake McCabe is on this team. Listen, The Blackhawks just said fuck it to the rebuild and just brought in a lot of talented pieces.
Yeah, you could say that.
So,
That's the word for it.
so they also got rid of Brent Seabrook, which is great because he was
Oh,
just a
he retired. Didn't
well,
really
yeah,
wait.
but they got rid of the cap hit, which is almost arguably more important than the actual player is the cap hit in today's NHL.
Also, Duncan Keith is now an Edmonton Oilers, so he is no longer with the team as well.
I don't think I saw any Keith merch this weekend when I went out to like shops or stuff. I don't think I saw any Keith jerseys.
I guess he's not a primetime guy yet. I guess not.
No, but apparently the Oilers are going to win the cup this year. That's the word around town. It is.
That's the word every City of Champions.
City of Champions. This is the year, baby. Normal year. McDavid, Draisaitl. Let's run it, baby. Should I really believe in this team? Should anybody really believe in this team?
Yeah, I do. Are you kidding?
You're drinking the Kool-Aid on this one?
No, but I'm going to tell you why they're going to make the playoffs.
Why are they going to make the playoffs?
Jonathan Toews is back. Patrick Kane is still Patrick Kane. Another year of Kirby Dach, and now down the middle, they're looking good, especially if Toews can play a full season and it's solid. Toews, Johnson, Dach right down the middle. Whatever order that's in, who knows? But that's going to be sick. They're wingers pretty solid, especially down the left side. DeBrincat, Patrick Kane. Kubalik was in the Calder running last year. Not this previous year, but the year before that. He was in the Calder running. Lucas Reichel might be in the Calder race this year. I don't think he'll win it, but he might be in the Calder race.
Top 5, maybe.
Maybe top 5. Again, Curiel had a pretty good year last year. Dylan Strom's right now on the 4th line. He'll probably move up and play with insert DeBrincat, Kane, whoever it might be. Like
I would think he would be on the 2nd line with Kubalik and Johnson.
That's what I'm going to guess right now. But again, he and DeBrincat have that chemistry from Erie, so they'll probably play together. And yeah, they lose Bookfist, but Seth Jones, huge piece. It's going to be a huge piece, and again, Fleury and net with Lankinen as your backup, who also had a great year last year, by the way. So there's lots to like about this team.
Vezina winner last year, Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah.
Can I also say maybe one of the most underrated low-key steals of the offseason was getting a 3rd-round pick for Nikita Zadorov?
Yeah.
The fact you got an asset for Nikita Zadorov is mildly impressive.
That's impressive. And as high as 3rd round. It's pretty good.
Okay. Here's why I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. Or here's why I wouldn't bet on them making the playoffs.
Sure.
This just feels like an NBA team that's, thrown together, put in together, and they're all expected to go out and do well and be well.
Sure.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm not totally confident. Seth Jones, I think, is fine. The rest of their defense, yeah.
Little fuzzy.
That's not going to be great for Marc-Andre Fleury, who is now, as we record this podcast, Marc-Andre Fleury is
36
years old. So you're asking a 36-year-old who I know it's coming off the Vezina Trophy win last year, but he played for Vegas.
This is true with 2 Norris caliber defensemen on their team.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now we're going, to Chicago, where your best defenseman is Seth Jones, and he's not that much of a defensive defenseman. Listen, no offense, Connor Murphy and Calvin DeHaan are probably not going to be doing a whole lot to help Marc-Andre Fleury.
Only time will tell. I still think they're making the playoffs, but
okay. So who's your X factor for the Blackhawks?
Probably Jonathan Toews.
Okay.
you know how much I love Kirby Doc, and I do want to talk about him all the time. But I'm gonna say Jonathan Taves. Again, he's the captain. He is the leader on that team, hands down. Patrick Kane is one of them too as well. Don't get me wrong, but Taves, he's got to play like vintage Taves to have, kind of propel this team to the playoffs, and I think he'll do it. I'm a true believer he'll do it. Full year of rest. COVID's come and almost gone, so.
It is gone. We're back to normal. There is no COVID.
Yeah. What am I talking about? Yeah, we're gone. It's good. So yeah, Taves will be great. No COVID, so we're good.
Yeah. I don't know why people are saying it's a concern when it isn't a concern. I think my X factor for this team has to be Seth Jones. Yeah. Like if Seth Jones does not work out this year, like if for whatever reason Seth Jones like is only average this year,
right?
That's a big problem because you're paying Seth Jones $9.5 million to be a top elite, whatever you want to say, defenseman.
Sure.
And if he's not that this year, I like Seth Jones. If he's not doing that, maybe actually Seth Jones. I just want to check something because I think if Seth Jones, does well this year. Is it because of the fact that he is where is it here? Yeah, it's because of the fact he's wearing like the Blackhawks jersey, which is very similar to the Portland Winterhawks jerseys.
Yeah, you know what? He might have missed being in the black, red, and white. So
yeah, he might miss like that logo with that jersey scheme with the colors.
Yeah. You're thinking.
I don't know if anybody's mentioned that, but I feel like we're becoming I feel like this is a really successful podcast. I feel like we're becoming, smarter people by saying all of these smart things. Like Seth Jones will do well because he's in like a former color scheme of his. The Stars aren't going to make the playoffs. There is no COVID. I feel like we're just becoming smarter.
It's an informed podcast. See, it's what happens when you have some fun sometimes. You come back and work and you're great.
You're more educated when you go to country bars on White Ave.
Yeah, obviously, of course.
Okay, so you said Jonathan Taves. I said Seth Jones. That's our Blackhawks preview. By the way, I also wanted to throw out there. I don't know what the odds are. I don't know if you can put odds on like a coach getting fired. I think there could be like if there were like long odds for Colleton to get fired, I think I would put like a bit of money on that just in case the season really goes to shit for Chicago.
Right. You think on the hot seat? I think there's more coaches that are on the hot seat, and we're gonna get to a couple of them coming up.
Oh,
potentially.
Which is that? Does that mean we're talking about the Blues, the St. Louis Blues next?
We'll see.
Who do you want to discuss?
I think we should talk about Winnipeg next.
All right, let's talk about Winnipeg. Surprisingly, the best Jets in pro sports right now, as the New York Jets are 0-3.
That's not a surprise. The New York Jets always suck.
Well, the Winnipeg Jets weren't always good for a while.
This is true. Well, they were called the Atlanta Thrashers before when they really sucked. So they're better now. And I
think you're forgetting like when they first moved to Winnipeg as well, and like Andre Pavlik.
Hey, don't sleep on Andre Pavlik, dude. He was pretty good.
Okay, all right. I don't know what's worse, me like actually trying to like compliment the Coyotes or you trying to like back up Andre Pavlik.
I'm not going to because they don't have Pavlik. They have Hellebuck. And speaking of getting in front of guys in front of Hellebuck, their defense got better.
So looking at the Jets defense coming up this season, okay? Yep. You have Josh Morrissey with Nate Schmidt.
Yes.
Who's a nice addition.
Very nice addition.
Brandon Dillon, who I actually like. I like him as like a defensive defenseman for this team. Like I think you kind of know what you're getting with Brandon Dillon. You gave up a little bit too much for him, maybe with 2 second-round picks.
But still a good he's a good addition for sure.
I think you know what you're getting with him.
Yep.
Along with Neil Pionk.
Yeah, who's a solid defenseman.
And then you have a notable large fellow, Logan Stanley.
It's a big man there, 6'7", 220 pounds, 230 pounds.
He's a
He's a big boy. He's a big boy.
He's a tall dude. Along with Dylan the Mellow, who sounds like he should be like a pop music sensation, but instead is on the third D pair for the Jets.
Yeah. Like I said, this defense core got better.
Okay, the defense core got better. Forward wise, I think I like 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I might like half a dozen players on this team offensively. I like Scheifele, even though Scheifele did a bad thing at the end of the year last year, running Jake Evans when he didn't have to.
We talked about that several podcasts ago.
The dirty. Kyle Connor, I like.
Sure.
He's going to help lead Team USA to gold at the upcoming Olympics, so that's going to be cool. Andrew Kopp actually is like a good, like, he doesn't get talked enough about, but like as a grinding, hard-nosed forward.
Yeah.
I think he's good at that role.
He's pretty underrated for all things considered. He's very underrated, actually.
And then Pierre-Luc Dubois and Nicolas Ehlers are on the same line, along with Kopp.
Yep. I like that second line. That second line's pretty nice, not gonna lie.
Solid second line, and I don't mind Paul Stastny.
Yeah. Okay. The loss of Mason Appleton's gonna hurt because he was really a guy. Appleton, by the way, went to the Seattle Kraken.
Yes.
He was a guy that was really taking strides last year, and he just looked really good in games. Kind of a really solid middle six kind of forward. Could play up and down if he needed to, but he played third line mostly. And man, they're gonna miss him a lot. That's for sure.
I think it might be. I do think they got better.
So do I.
I mean, their fourth line with Riley Nash, Jansen Harkins, Dominic Toninato, I don't know who he is. That could be a little bit of cause for concern, but I think it's actually a fairly safe bet with this team, like for them to go far, considering their defense and goaltending. Like, it's gonna be boring; they're not fun to watch, but I think defensively and goaltending, I think it's a pretty safe bet for them to go far.
Yep, I think so. I think the Jets are really well built. They're built from the back out. Hellebuck's one of the best goalies in the NHL.
Oh, speaking of guys who are going to lead Team USA to gold at Beijing in 2022.
No, John Gibson, but okay. Anyways.
Oh, I'm okay. John Gibson will help Connor Hellebuck get gold at Beijing.
The Americans aren't winning gold anyways, but they're going to try.
This is the best. We'll talk about this later on, but this is like the best chance for the U.S. to win gold at the Olympics. If they don't win gold at this year's Olympics, I'm probably never going to watch Olympic hockey again. But I think there's a good chance the Jets. I don't know about winning the division, but they're kind of like the Islanders, where like I think they're a good bet to just go far.
Yeah,
make a deep run.
Especially they're going to be buyers at the deadline. They're going to have to get some sort of forward depth somewhere. And I think they can do it. I think they're going to pick up a guy, Phil Kessel, and Clayton Keller, if he's on the block. Yeah, a forward from maybe like a Matt Duchene, go to Winnipeg. I don't know. Those are guys we just talked about in this division alone, but who knows who could be out there, who could be available. We'll have to see.
Wheeler is 35 with a no move clause. He's got an $8.25 million cap hit. Try to see if there's any other contract I really don't like on this team. 3.25 and a modified no trade for Adam Lowry seems a little steep.
Nope, that's good. That's about right. he's not the heart and soul of that team, but he's an instrumental part of that bottom six. He's kind of like the leader of the bottom six in a way.
Yeah, you're probably right. Did you mention an X factor?
I didn't know, but I'm gonna say Josh Morrissey.
Okay.
If he takes another step, he's gonna be not elite, but he's gonna be a excellent first pairing defenseman, and he's a guy that they're gonna lean on a lot, and they're gonna have to. But he's that good. I think he's up for it. So,
all right. I think my X factor on the Jets this season. What do I want to go with? I'll go Connor. You know what? Connor's going to score 30 goals this year.
More
for the Jets.
Maybe more.
All right, fine. Kyle Connor will score. He'll score 50 goals this year.
Bet you're on.
All right.
How much? $10?
Kyle Connor will score 50 goals and win a gold medal for Team USA at the Olympics. I will parlay that.
$10.
$10. Oh, that's a little. Fine. $10. Fine. $10.
Hey, he's not doing either of those. He's gonna have less than 50 goals, and Team Canada's gonna win the gold medal.
You know what I hate about this bet the most?
Is that none of them are gonna be right?
No, not that. They're both gonna be right. Is that I'm gonna have to watch the Jets this year just to see how Kyle Connor does, and I'm not excited for that.
Well, neither of them will be right, but anyways, okay. So Connor's your X factor. I like that. Connor's a great goal scorer. He's gonna put up a lot, and he'll have to for this team.
They're gonna put him on a lot. I don't know if he's gonna. Yeah, he'll be with Scheifele, and they'll move Ehlers, and Connor will score 50 goals. I regret saying that. No, fuck it. I don't regret saying that because we're a smart podcast now.
Yeah, you do.
No, we're a smart podcast. We're an intellectually sound podcast, and no, I don't regret anything. I regret nothing, said a wise man once.
Okay.
Speaking of regrets, Jordan Binnington on the Blues, signing him to a long-term deal. Do you want to talk about the Blues next?
Yeah, let's talk about the Blues. I mean, yeah, let's talk about the Blues.
That was a poor transition, but I had to get to the Blues.
That was a poor transition. But anyways,
speaking of the Blues, I don't know if you heard they acquired David Backes for one day.
I did know that, and then he retired with the team. Congrats to David Backes, former Duck, as well. By the way, I had to mention that.
Are the Blues any better? I think
their scoring's better. They have a better scoring group. Brandon Saad's a big addition as well. Yeah, that's another good pick. Buchnevich is really good. He was good in New York, and he's going to be pretty good here. The biggest thing is Tarasenko. That's my biggest concern. I've heard rumblings that he wants out. I think he wants to be gone. I don't think he wants to play in St. Louis. And that's a concern. However, if management can somehow kind of turn that around and get him to be on this team, they'll get past a playoff round. They'll be second in the Central. That's what I have them at right now, and they'll get through a playoff round for sure. The thing I wonder about the Blues, they lost Vince Dunn. They lost to him to Seattle at the expansion. Yeah, which that's a tough loss. I like Vince Dunn. So do I. I'm a bit curious as to why it didn't work out with Mike Hoffman in St. Louis. Honestly, I think he was always a rental, and he was kind of going to be that for the whole year, and they just couldn't get rid of him at the deadline. And I mean, they were also in a spot to be in the playoffs, so they kept him just for that scoring touch, and they just didn't get anywhere in the playoffs. So I think the problem is that they played Colorado, and like they could keep up with Colorado a little bit, but they just didn't have the stamina, the energy to keep up with Colorado for a full 60 minutes. Like Colorado just had another gear that the Blues did not have. Well, and that's why we're going to talk about them next. But like the Blues are good. The Blues are a good team, and I like their forward core is really nice. Their top four defensemen are solid. off the top, you said Binnington is a bit of a question. I don't want to say concern. Question marks probably better. They're a playoff team. There's no doubt about it. They're definitely gonna make the playoffs. How far they go, who knows?
I just want to say I want Jordan Binnington to succeed.
Oh, so do I.
Like,
Yeah.
I think he's a really fascinating individual who I think is better, like not better, but he's more than the guy who has like the hot run. Like, I think he can be a 40 to 50 game starting goalie in the NHL.
Yeah. I like that.
I think last year as well was a weird year where like they had to start the year with 7 games against the Coyotes.
Yeah, that's right. They had like a playoff series to start. That's right.
And then finished out like the rest of the year against like Vegas and Colorado and not nearly enough against the shitty teams to help them get hot. Like they were facing the Vegases and the Colorados for most of the end of last year. I like the Blues. You know what I like about the Blues is the fact that Bill Armstrong's their GM, correct?
Doug Armstrong.
Bill Armstrong's in Arizona.
That's correct.
Doug Armstrong.
There you go.
You know what? He said, he pretty much just said indirectly this summer, I like my core guys. We're gonna run it back. He's like, I believe in this group. I believe in the team. Like, Barbashev, re-signed him. Jordan Kyrou re-signed him. Re-signed Zach Sanford, who I believe they just traded recently, didn't they, to Ottawa?
They did. For Logan Brown, who is on their 4th line currently.
Logan Brown, actually, I don't mind either. But, and then, like, Colton Parayko, Tyler Bozak, re-signed Robert Thomas within the last week. Like, he signed Jordan Binnington last season. He basically said, Doug Armstrong, he basically said, I trust my guys. I believe in this team. Like, we're going to run it back. We're going to do this again. And I think the results can be different. Which, you know what? Kudos to him. The fact that you, like, believe in your team, you think this team's good enough, go for it.
100%. Oh, for sure. For sure. And I mean, to your point about, they're a solid team. And again, they kept most of their core intact, which is huge. And they added the pieces they need to. Their scoring was an issue last year. And like I said off the top, Saad, Bushnevich, Kostin even, who's from their system, he's going to probably make the team and he'll be good as well. So I'm with you. I like this team for sure. Who is your X Factor?
My X Factor for the Blues this upcoming season, I think you're going to like this, is Torrey Krug.
Yes, I like it. That's a good pick.
So Krug came over last year to replace Alex Pietrangelo.
To try.
And try to replace him. You're not going to replace him, but to try to replace him.
Yep.
And he actually was like a really good defenseman last year on a really, tough team, like put in a tough situation with the, realignment where like they finished 4th because they were playing Colorado, Vegas, and Minnesota quite a bit.
Right.
So I think again, I don't know. COVID, I think, was a bit of a write-off year for everybody to a certain extent.
Sure.
But I think Torrey Krug will have another really good season with the Blues under normal circumstances with a team that I think is going to be better than people think. And he's going to be, I don't know, top 10 defenseman in the league. I don't know how you want to rank defensemen, but like, I think he's going to be a really good player and maybe the Blues, probably the most valuable defenseman on the Blues and probably 3rd most valuable behind Binnington and O'Reilly.
I'd throw Parayko in that conversation as well.
Sure, but, okay.
Yeah, I agree. I don't disagree with that. That's a good call. But yeah, no, I like it.
Your X Factor.
Robert Thomas.
Okay, I like that. I like Robert Thomas. He's actually really fun to watch.
Oh, he's always been sick. He's such a silky smooth guy, and he's gonna have to step up this year. Shen kind of took a step back. O'Reilly's still really good, don't get me wrong. But again, having Robert Thomas as their second line center is, again, he's gonna have to take a step, and he'll do it. He'll do it. And if he can contribute, the Blues are scary down the middle. They are scary, and they'll compete. They can compete with the guys we're gonna talk about next.
I like that pick. So let's round out the Central Division with the Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. We know the Avalanche are really good.
Yeah, it goes without saying.
I do like the fact that they re-signed Makar and Landeskog.
Yep.
Slightly concerned about goaltending.
You don't think Kemper is going to be good enough?
I don't know if he'll provide as much as Grubauer did.
No, he won't. That's true.
But I do think their defense is good enough that they will still be pretty good.
I agree with that. Even, I mean, here's the thing. They lost Ryan Graves to the Devils, which stings. Albeit, don't get me wrong, it hurts. But Bowen Byram's going to take a huge step, and he's going to be a big part of this team this year. Huge part of this team, actually.
Bowen Byram is still 20.
Yeah. He's our age. I think he's 01, actually. He's at 2001.
Yeah, he's actually younger than my brother.
There you go. He's an 01, yeah. Wow.
No, I think this team is still really good.
Yeah.
I don't think they really needed to do a whole lot. They picked up Darren Helm in free agency as a depth guy. Ryan Murray, former Everett Silvertip, they picked him up. I mean, they lost Donskoy, which is which stings. Matt Calvert retired. Pierre-Edouard Bellemare went to Tampa Bay.
Yep. Grubauer obviously to Seattle as well. It's a big loss.
So I think this team's still really good. I think this team is still the Avalanche for the most part. Like, I still think they're a cup contender. Absolutely. A little bit concerned with the goaltending, which I don't think will impact them too much in the regular season. I think that's more of a postseason concern.
Yeah. Especially because Kemper hasn't had nearly as much playoff experience as either of those guys. Grubauer hasn't had much either, but at least he's had more. So I'm with you. I'm with you there. Kemper is going to be. He's kind of my X factor. You know what? I'll say he's my X factor.
Okay.
I could have gone. I was going to say Rantanen, but just I could say either of those guys. But Kemper's my X factor. He's got to be like, if he can be like, not half of what Grubauer was, but if he can play up to like what he should, like his expectation, which is like a solid starter, will win you 35, 40 games. That would be good. Again, the offense and defensive structure of this team is going to carry them. The playoffs are where they got to go at least to the third round for it to be successful. At least.
Yeah, they got to be. Oh, shit. They have to be the best team in their division.
Absolutely.
Hold on. Yeah, pretty much I feel like Colorado has to be the top, like, finish for best out of any Central team. Like, if they aren't, deeper in the playoffs than the Blues or the Jets, because now we're going back to the old system. Well, we kind of had the same system last year, but like more or less, like basically, if you're the best team in the Central, then you're going to be going to like conference finals. So that's what Colorado should be.
Yep.
That's what they should be aiming for.
Yep.
You said Kemper was your X factor.
Yep.
I'm gonna go Alex Newhook.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I like that.
He's gonna have a full season with the Avs. Third lines used to be, grind lines, used to be, a physical line, change of pace. On Colorado, it's another speed line. It's another,
this is pure speed here.
Pure speed with Tyson Jost, JT Compher, and Alex Newhook. Like, they're just like, bang. bang, bang. Like they're just coming at you with speed and skill through 3 lines. Actually, the second line is more of a grittier line with Nichushkin, Kadri, and Burakovsky. But
A little bit, but again, those guys can still provide some offense and a bit of blight too. So yeah.
Point is, Alex Newhook, that dude, I'm not going to say he's going to get 50 goals like some other player I said on this podcast will, but I think Alex Newhook, 15 goals?
That's reasonable. 40 points.
30 points?
I like
35, 35 points. 35 points.
I like it. For a rookie, it's pretty good.
Also, a 2001 kid.
True.
Why is everybody who is like, just graduated like 3 years ago, why are they all playing in the NHL now?
Yeah, they're so good. Kirby Doc who, right?
Kirby Doc, Alex Turcotte, Cole Caulfield. Who the fuck are these guys?
Well, we'll talk about some other of those youngins in the Pacific Division when we get there. But
do you want to do the playoff rankings now?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, who do you have?
1 to 8. Let me just get out. I did research for these pods. Trust me, I got it. So
okay,
Colorado is 1.
Sure.
St. Louis is 2. Winnipeg is 3. Everyone's gonna kind of have those same 3. I have Chicago 4, Nashville 5, Minnesota 6, Dallas 7, Arizona 8.
Okay. I'll go Colorado 1.
Yep.
I'll go the Jets 2.
Oh, okay.
I'll go the Blues 3.
Yep.
Fuck it. I'll go the Wild 4, the Blackhawks 5.
Okay.
Preds, Stars, Coyotes.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna bet on Caprichov, Cam Talbot, and hopefully Minnesota trading for Eichel. That's what I'm betting on.
I like it. Hey, there you go.
There you go. Mailbag time.
Mailbag time.
We only have one question in our mailbag. Thanks to everybody for sending questions. It's greatly appreciated. You guys don't feel like you're overwhelming us with questions, okay? We can handle multiple questions, all right? Don't don't give me multiple choice answer, okay? I'd rather just write it out. All right, SYP creator Ravisher, after the Kraken lose to the Canucks one day after the first ever game, their unofficial first game, preseason game in Spokane, speaking of Tyler Johnson and Jared Spurgeon, Ravisher asked, Seattle Kraken make playoffs, ? And the correct answer is yes. I'll discuss more about that next week on the preview, Pacific preview with Scott.
Gotta be there for it. This is gonna be probably the most listened to preview because this
is gonna be like balls to the wall, just you and I just going tit for tat with.
We will probably be screaming at each other by the end of it.
Probably, like we will be like so upset with one another. I will probably drink for it so I can really get in the mood. It's gonna be wonderful. So Scott will give his official prediction next week on the Kraken making the playoffs. Scott, any final thoughts before we wrap it up here?
No, this division, it's an obvious 1. It's an obvious 8. 2 to 7, sort of up in the air. Things could, I have Dallas definitely missing the playoffs, but again, who knows? And this might be a division that 5 teams make it, and that's been the theme recently, and it could be the same this year. So we'll see what happens.
That's totally true. That's correct. That's the SYP podcast with Scott as we do our central preview. Rav and I are going to come out with a 2016 NHL redraft later on this week, and our last of the redrafts before the season starts. And I got some WHL work I got going on this week. The Silvertips first game is Sunday, October 3rd in Spokane. So I will be covering that virtually. And we might have an appearance at a Seattle Kraken preseason game later on this week against the Edmonton Oilers.
There you go. Love to see it.
All right. That's the podcast. You know where to check us out. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. You know the drill. We'll be back again soon. Peace.